Emergency evacuation at sea. The 11-day cruise started in San Francisco and included stops in Cabo San Lucas, Laredo, La Paz, and Puerto Vallarta. The Star Princess was carrying 18 pallets of relief goods for hurricane-torn Cabo San Lucas. This consisted of food, water, medical supplies, and even diapers. The trip started on Wednesday, October 1st, and the cruise out of San Francisco Bay in the late afternoon was a photographer's delight. The setting sun in the background set off the Golden Gate Bridge, and it was beautiful. So we are off on a relaxing trip. The first indication that there was a problem on board was at 1:30 a.m. on October 2nd. The captain came in over the loudspeaker system asking for medical response team to report to a specific cabin. At 4 a.m. the captain again came on to the speaker system, but this time the speakers in the cabins were activated. The captain woke up the entire ship. His request was for any card-carrying blood donors with blood type O negative, please report to the medical clinic immediately. He repeated this request at least 3 times, so it really did wake up the ship. About 9:30 in the morning, the captain came onto the speaker system and announced there would be an air evacuation of one of the passengers about 11:30 a.m. or in about 2 hours from now. We had sailed far enough south that a U.S. Coast Guard helicopter was en route from San Diego. He further informed both passengers and crew that the upper middle decks had to be cleared. What I found out when he said cleared, this meant the swimming pool was drained, lounges and mats were put away, towels, anything that could be swept up into the airwash of the helicopter blades was put away. I grabbed my camera and headed for the Skywalker Lounge. This is very high up on the ship. It is enclosed, and therefore I thought I could get some good photos and videos of the evacuation. The captain kept us informed of the progress of the Coast Guard as to arrival time. I naturally chose the wrong side of the ship to take my pictures. The helicopter came in on the port side while I had stationed myself on the starboard side. Even then, shooting through the structure of the ship, I got some spectacular video. I noticed that the passengers were not restricted to the upper decks directly below the lounge. By the time I got down to the deck, the medical personnel on board the helicopter had already been lowered to the ship. What was now just outstanding is the pilot pulled the craft out about 200 feet from the ship and just hovered. The ship and the helicopter, both in motion, stayed exactly side by side. The pilot held this position for almost 20 minutes. Finally, the aircraft slowly moved in over the deck and lowered the cable. Shortly thereafter, I got some great video of the basket and patient being raised into the helicopter. A few minutes later, the medical personnel that came with the rescue craft was raised. The chopper then immediately started pulling away from the ship. The passengers went wild with clapping and shouting. I got it all on tape. The closing video I got was of the aircraft pulling away from the ship. The crew chief on board the helicopter reaching out and closing the door. The captain of the Star Princess was just outstanding through the entire cruise and kept us informed of the patient. About 5 that evening, he announced that the patient was in the hospital and in stable condition. He further thanked all medical personnel on board the ship, and a special thanks to the number of passengers that showed up at the medical clinic as blood donors. The handling of the ship's personnel, the pilot and crew members of the helicopter all did what they needed to do, and they did it well.